Alright, so we've got Cullen's Meteora body here, and it's been painted, and looks like it was coming out pretty good. He said he wasn't happy with it, but looks like it was coming out pretty good. It would have gotten there. But he decided he wanted it fabric topped, and so I'm kind of looking at where it is, and it looks like he was doing some relicking and stuff, and so I'm starting to basically go ahead and sand this, and you can see over here where I started sanding by hand, and so we're going to take this back to the wood so that we can get a really good, so we can attach our fabric and get a really good connection, mechanical connection with that. So I'm starting with a 150 grit, and I'm going to do that, and then we'll go all the way up to like a 600 grit, which is a good grit for the glue and the fabric to adhere to. Okay, so we're finishing sanding down the back smooth, and you can see we've gotten all the paint off the back. And we're at 400 grit, which is going to give it, give the glue and the fabric a really good chance at adhesion. So we're going to stop at 4 rather than 6, because this is really smooth and it's keyed just enough to really let that glue grab. Okay, so you can see that I've drawn 2 lines on the fabric here at an angle, because since this is an offset body, there's, the fabric, the darker fabric is going to end up here. The lighter fabric is going to end up here. And so since I'm cutting this piece here because it's not going to lay over right, then I want to try to match those colors as close as possible as they drape over. So it looks like the fabric is draping over in that one place. All right. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to start putting on our glue. And we're going to glue that strip of fabric on the end. Let's clean up our neck pocket really quick. We don't need that glue in the neck pocket. And I'm going to apply that fabric and we'll come back. Okay, so we've got the fabric across our top, across the top horns, and now we can go ahead and put the fabric on our top. And so we'll go ahead and we'll poly both the top and the top horns at the same time. Okay, and then we'll be able to cut the fabric off the back and then put on the back. All right, so we take our fabric and we're going to come straight across like that. Alright, so we're getting our fabric on, and we're going to go ahead and smooth out here with our ruler. Just trying to make sure we work out any wrinkles that might be in that. Okay, so we're going to start, we got the glue on, and we're going to start working this back edge and pulling up our side. And so I'm just going to get this bottom piece done here, and then I'm going to have to work the sides. With the offset body, it's going to be a little bit different from doing the Strat. It's going to have more turns, more unpredictable fabric, the way the fabric comes up in the body, so it's going to have cuts in different locations. All right. Okay, and so coming up the side, I realize I can go ahead and pull this all the way up, and of course we're going to have our normal cut location here on this side, but I can do this whole corner, this whole all the way up to here, and just by pulling it tight and bunching it up at the top. And so I'm going to cut this here, and then we'll separate that, and then this will get folded up there. We'll see if there's a patch going to be needed in there or not. Okay, so we did put a patch in here, and what we're going to do is we'll glue that up like that, we'll glue that up like that, and it's going to look like it was always there. So we've got our glue here, and glue up that side. We've already put in our patch. And so now we're just pulling everything, and we do have some wrinkling in here that I wasn't expecting, but we'll go ahead and we'll pull it tight. So this side is going to be trickier. I know I'm going to have a cut point here, and I'm going to go with this line to kind of hide it again, like I did in the other one. But I'm also going to have a problem over here in the corner, where I'm probably going to have to slit that up and work around. I'm going to see if I can't do some bunching where I kind of stuff the fabric into the hole, and then I'll cut it out once it's glued. But we'll see. So the first thing is this cut. So we'll start making this relief cut. And slow and steady. And I'll take this as far as I can with the scissors. Okay, and as far as I can get the scissors. And so with that, what you didn't see on the other cut before is I slide a ruler underneath it so I don't hurt my table. And I have a wood carving knife here. And I can cut right on that line if I take my time. And so it's nice and clean. So you can see that's going to do that again. Now we're just going to put the first coat of poly on the top. And what we're really trying to do here is getting it just a coat down so we can stiffen up the fabric and trim everything to length. And this is our base coat. 3 layers in this. We'll make it nice and smooth, and then we will spray our clear poly once we've put the back on and done the same thing to this. So this is our first coat, and we've done the top and we've done the sides, and hopefully we've got the corners good enough that we've got the corners good enough so that we can trim the back off it and cut the back to length. Okay, so we're going to start cutting our excess off, and we are using the body as our guide. You can see we're putting in a pretty straight line except for right there where we brushed it a little bit. Okay, so there we have our top all trimmed. Now we can apply the back. And here we have our top with our cavities cut out. Okay, so we're getting ready to glue on the back, and you see we lined up the fabric here, and this had to be kind of lined up because of the way that the body's going. And so now what we have to do is come back, and then we can glue down the rest of the fabric. Here we are, we have it glued on, and now we just need to go ahead and let it dry, let it set, and then we can put some poly down and then trim it down. We have our body, it's got its base poly on it. It has been all trimmed down and taped off where clear. We have adhered our back and side, so there's still a little minor trimming to do on it, and then we need to kind of wet sand this down, and then we can spray the clear. And okay, so we've got our base poly on Cullen's Meteora, and we're just going to go ahead and we're going to smooth it out, and we're going to get it ready to receive the clear. The nice thing on the back is it's not as contoured as the front is. There are all the cutouts on it, so back is going to go a bit smoother. I've already done the top. And then I'll have to do, of course, the sides. We've got 6 light coats of base poly on this. Well, we'll come back and see how it looks when we're finished. Alright, so here's our Meteora body with the base poly on it. And we're getting ready to go ahead and start shooting some 2K clear. Here we are after our 3rd coat of 2K clear. And that is our front. And that is our back on our 3rd coat. And again, our side. We've been wet sanding for a while here. And we've gone through all of our grits all the way from 1200 grit all the way up to 12,000 grit. And I've done that 3 different times. And the 12,000 gets it so fine that it makes the buff really super easy. And so here I'm getting down into the end here. And right now I'm currently using a 6,000 grit. And so I've already done the back. And we're on the, this is like the 3rd time that we've wet sanded the top. And then we'll follow that up by buffing. And then really it's just go ahead and doing the sides. It will be done. And so what I'm using to wet sand is I'm using a micro mesh kit. And it goes from 1,500 to 12,000. And I start with a another brand of sander at the 1200. So the micro mesh kit starts at 1,500, goes to 12,000, and so I do it the first time, and then I look for the areas that might have some flaws in them, and I chase down those areas. Just to, try to chase on just those areas. You can go back through the 2nd time, and then look and see what you got left. And come back and address those areas again. So this is the 3rd time, and I think we've gotten most of the really important stuff. There are going to be some minor things here and there, but they may come out as we do the buff. So, and you can just see where. Just change those out there. This the handle I'm using here, it comes from the other sanding kit. It doesn't come from the micro mesh kit. And like I said, I do most of this by hand. And when we get to the buffing point, I'll use the buffing wheel to get the big stuff. Well, as I get down to the finer buffing heads, I'll go back to using it by hand again. That kind of system. And I'm going to save your ears, and rather than using the drill, just put a little bit on here, put it in a couple areas. Okay, we'll just start buffing. And we'll probably buff this a good 5 or 6 times. Going down, like I said, just like with the sandpapers, the buffing wheels, the buffing sponges have, different kind of grit levels to them as well. Alright, so it looks like we are all done with Cullen James Meteora, so let's go ahead and reveal it. One moment, please. Alright, so here we have our top. And you can see the shine coming off of that. And we have our back. And again, shine coming off of that. And let's go around. Okay, and then we're going to get some close-up shots. Alright, so here we are, looking at it a little bit closer up. And you can see the lights off the ceiling coming up. It is not by any means perfect, but I think Cullen should be well pleased. And again, our back. And you can see where it kind of whitened up here a little bit.